more nervous than Mr. Conley. But, at the very least, I could admit that was a pretty incredible speech. I haven't known you guys more than 5 or 10 years, but that was a pretty incredible speech. So I'll do my best to follow it up. I was lucky enough to, over 10 minutes ago, be informed that I was going to. So, as Mr. Conley told all his incredible stories, I had my cell phone underneath, just tapping up some things. But I just figured I'd pick 3 stories that I could think of. And again, my speech isn't as good as Mr. Conley, so if you want to get up and get a beer during it, I won't look at anybody the wrong way. One of the first times I got to know the Conleys was because I got to get invited to a graduation. It was probably
mine.
Meredith, is that right? And I probably had 1 or 2 beers. I think I brought my $10 Kohl's gift card. They elbowed me and said, "You got to give something." And great night. Don't remember a lot about it, but the sleeping arrangements were top notch. The Conleys set me up, and they're incredible people, as everyone knows. They set me up in my own trampoline in their backyard. Took care of it. I mean, whatever I wanted, I had the whole trampoline. Nobody trying to get in there. Think about 5 a.m. There came the earthquake. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. And although it's just a small story, it's just one of those things that reminds me that Conleys are 2 of the most generous people I know. Mr. Conley wasn't going to bust my chops and go, "Yo, man, you've had a few. Come on, you got to get. Hey, you need a bed? There ain't one here for you." But every time I hang out with Jess and Andrew, they just remind me of the same things, that they're just trying to give, and whatever they can do to help you. Yeah, it's pretty funny, but whatever they can do to help you, they're willing to do that. It might just seem like a trampoline, but a lot of other guys' dads I know would have said, "You can't stay here, but get the heck out." So that's my first Conley story. My second one, as I look here, involves Mrs. Conley. For people who might not know me well, I went to Bonner with Andrew, but we did not speak for 3 years. We couldn't go out in the same groups. As soon as Andrew had dumped a girl or broken up with her, I would then try and hook up with her. I would think, he's a good-looking guy. I'll take his B, whatever, that would happen. So Andrew didn't really like that was happening. So for 3 years, we didn't really talk much. Senior year, I get to be blessed to have theology with him. Andrew was a superb student, but multiple choices where he struggled sometimes. We had this great idea senior year to say, "I'll put the answers in your back. How are they going to figure out if I just tap them in your back? What's going on?" Needless to say, Father Devlin one day decided to call Mrs. Conley and say, "That Andrew is always talking, always being rambunctious, always just, and when I correct him, all he does is talk back. Now that James Coyne, all he does is say, 'Father, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.'" Now, all that time, I thought because, Andrew helped me, I think it is because, and we later joked, me and my friends, we call Mrs. Conley JC, that she has a direct line to the big JC. So, although theology wasn't his strong point, always one of those I remember that at least, he has one big JC going for him.
You're a JC.
So, you're the real JC. My connection is not as direct as yours. And my last story, or joke, or whatever I can say, is we all took a Delaware County class about 5 years ago. Me, Andrew, and Martin. We go, "It's got to be easy. It's like art history. We'll carpool. It's only 6 weeks. How many tests can the guy give?" It was a nightmare. I can still remember, as we walked out of the final exam, I looked at Martin. Martin looked at Andrew. Andrew looked at me. Andrew goes, "I think I failed." We didn't know how we did, but we always knew that Andrew got great gifts. Mrs. Conley, great gifts for things. He would always, "Andrew got this, he did this, he got rewarded." And, it was a Delaware County class, just filling some credits, just trying to get some art history in. I think maybe Martin walked away with a B+ and a congratulations from his dad. I think I maybe got a B- and from my mother, way to get 3 credits. Andrew got a C+ and some of the nicest mesh shorts I've ever seen. Allen Iverson type mesh shorts. That day, I try and send Mrs. Conley my report card. On that note, that's all I have. pass it off to Brian.